This is one of those very misunderstood things that happens in more relationships than not. And that's one thing that's a huge myth, that it's rare, but it's really, really challenging because the way media portrays infidelity, it's very black and white. It's not something that we're allowed to talk about too much. We have these religious standards and social standards that have kind of been solidified and put in place, and we assume that works or should work for everybody, and it doesn't. The challenge we have when we're in relationships, because we want so badly this connection and this intimacy and this monogamy and this I'm the only one that's so special to you, and this is men and women, that you're it for me, and that we almost have this in a way ownership of one another, that it's like you're mine and I'm yours, and this kind of connection where we can feel completely safe and completely ourselves around that person. And we want to feel like there's no kind of challenge or threat to that thing that you and this other person has. And so when things go badly or things aren't going well, if there aren't tools for being able to communicate and solve those problems, we often seek support and coping outside of the relationship. There's a lot of research on this, a lot of contribution into all of the factors that lead up to infidelity. There's a lot of research regarding the other partner's contribution to that final act, whether it was one person or the other, that led to one person feeling and seeking some kind of relationship or comfort outside the core relationship. When we were studying relationships and why one partner would break away, there was a really great case study. It was a male and a female in a relationship. They were in their mid-30s. Her parents ended up ill and ended up moving in with them, and she became a primary caregiver for one of her parents, and so she became incredibly occupied. There was no longer an intimate relationship. Anytime he would want a little bit of time, if parents needed something, she'd stop what she was doing and attend to them. And so there was a lot of dismissiveness that was happening. It started subtle, and then it got worse and worse and worse, to the extent that they had little to no time together ever. And so what was happening was he was feeling lonely and was beginning to develop a friendship with a coworker at work. And things like this happen. It's very innocently. He wasn't like, screw her, I'm going to go, hook up with some other woman. It was very much of a long term, 2 years of developing a sense of loneliness in the relationship, a sense of not being heard, a sense of not being valued or cared about. And again, not to justify his actions, but also to just be able to look at the big picture, that there is some responsibility. And I think she wasn't able to hold space for him. And it's hard to have a relationship with someone who is not available.